Hello everyone. I'm writing this because I need to get something off my chest and, perhaps, warn you of something truly disturbing. My name is Mark, and I work as an archivist at Disney Studios. Part of my job is to review and digitize old documents and archival material that was never used in films. Recently, I was assigned to a special project, preserving and digitizing classic film archives. Among them were the Bambi archives. I have always loved Bambi. It's a movie I remember watching as a kid. But what I discovered a few weeks ago has me completely terrified, and I can't stop thinking about it. What I found in the Bambi archives is not something that should have seen the light of day. It all started one ordinary day at the office, going through boxes of old reels and documents. I found a reel labeled simply Prototype. The label gave no further details, so I took it to the screening room to see it. I thought it was probably just unused footage or deleted scenes. First, everything looked normal. The animation was the same as I remembered, Bambi and his mother grazing in the forest. But soon I started to notice that something was wrong. The colors of the forest were darker, more somber, as if enveloped in an oppressive fog. The background music was different, with a more haunting, almost menacing tone. The first clear sign that something was wrong was during the scene of Bambi's mother's death. We all know that part. It's sad, but quick. However, in this reel, the scene was drawn out in a horribly graphic way. The camera didn't pull away when the shots rang out. Instead, it followed Bambi's mother as she fell to the ground, with Bambi running to her, crying. Bambi's mother did not die immediately. I watched her in agony, struggling to breathe, while Bambi was still by her side, crying inconsolably. It was so realistic, so graphic, that I had to stop the projection for a moment to catch my breath. My heart was pounding and a sense of dread settled in my stomach. What the hell was I watching? Why had something like this been filmed? I decided to continue, hoping it was some kind of mistake or a bad joke. But what came next was even worse. The film continued with Bambi standing next to his mother's corpse, when suddenly, the sound of human footsteps echoed through the forest. This was not the typical anonymous hunter we were shown in the original version. This man was visible. He wore a wide-brimmed hat and a plaid shirt. His face was hidden by shadow, but a cruel smile could be seen on his lips. The hunter approached Bambi, and what he did next left me transfixed. He pulled out a hunting knife and began to skin Bambi's mother right there on the screen. The scene was so graphic, so horribly detailed, that I had to look away. But the sound of flesh tearing and the final moans of Bambi's mother, I couldn't escape it. I felt nauseous, but I couldn't look away. I needed to know what else was on this damn reel. After what seemed like an eternity, the hunter finished his work, left the flayed and bloody body of Bambi's mother and walked away, disappearing into the darkness of the forest. Bambi stood there, trembling, staring at his mother's mutilated corpse. The scene abruptly changed to an image of the forest at dawn. Bambi was alone, wandering aimlessly, his eyes empty and lifeless. The forest, which had always been a place of beauty and life, now felt bleak and threatening. The animals that had once been his friends avoided him, as if they knew something terrible had happened. It was then that I found the documents that revealed the dark truth behind this version of Bambi. In an old memo, I read that Walt Disney and his team had been inspired by a real incident that occurred in a forest near the studio facilities. Apparently, a group of campers had been brutally killed and skinned by an unknown hunter. The bodies were found days later, grotesquely mutilated. The details of the incident were never made public, but Disney and his team used this real horror as inspiration to create a darker, more disturbing version of Bambi. This version was supposed to be an experiment to explore the limits of horror in animation, but the result was so disturbing that they decided to shelve it and never show it to the public. Now I understand why. Since then, I've had constant nightmares about that version of Bambi. I can't watch the original film without remembering those grotesque images. I feel like I'm losing my mind, but I know I can't keep quiet about this. People deserve to know the truth, even if it's scary. So here I am, sharing my story with you. Be careful what you find in old files. Some things should remain forgotten,